Hi, I'm Alec DeJesus. Today we're going to be talking about the ins and outs and the tips and tricks of making some murals. So first off, the biggest part is locking down your client, whether it is a mural festival, it is a private commission. It can kind of come from anywhere. It's about getting your presence known. Each mural is a billboard for the next. So a small client can turn into a big one. It just depends on where they're coming from and who your work speaks to. All right, so after you've locked everything in with your client, you have your location, your place, you have your dates. That's going to be a big one. It's time to go ahead and figure out your design. What I use typically when I'm getting ready to make mock-ups for location, for commission, anything, I'll start with Procreate. It's a way to use less material, but also you can kind of play around with colors, change them up, as easy as that. Okay, so once you have your sketch locked in, the client's approved it, you might have had to go through a couple rounds of that because everybody just has their own, take. And one thing you have to be in this field is a little flexible, a little pliable on your vision, but overall they have to trust you, and that's going to give you your best product. Once you have that locked in, materials. You have to make sure that your material is suitable for the overall environment. If it's an exterior mural or an interior, inside, outside, that's going to be huge, and that's going to decide what materials you can and can't use. If you're outside, you can use spray paint, you can use latex paint, that's going to be your best friend. And if you're inside, you have to make sure everything says interior. The big difference there is durability, flexibility, and also overall livability, if you will. Okay, so say you have all of your materials locked in, you've made all your hardware store trips, you've ordered things offline you need. Especially pay attention to the height, the environment of your location. With ladder work, that's going to require a couple other things. But once you have all of that locked in, it's time to go ahead and address your surface. You're going to, especially if it's outside, you're going to have to buff the walls, scrape the dirt, dust, wipe it off, keep it as clean as possible because that's going to make sure your paint sticks. Once you're past the buff stage, it's time to prime. Priming is going to be your base color, it's going to be your base coat, and that is going to be basically the glue between the wall and your paint. Once your surface is completely ready, you've given it a day or two to cure. That's going to be an important part to make sure that your paint stands up to the test of time and endures, especially if it's a public piece, it's got to endure, scuffs, bumps, bruises, all that good stuff. But once you are finished with that, you're diving into the world of how to actually create and paint this mural. There's so many different techniques, from doodle grids, projection, to freehanding, which is primarily what I go for. But once you are ready to paint, you address your area with tarps, tape off anything that's not supposed to get paint on it, and then you figure out what technique works best for you. And a good way to kind of see how I approach these is going to be looking at videos and checking out my website or my Instagram. You can call me Alec, and you can see how I approach things all the way from kind of a quick sketch to just freehanding it straight from the body. Okay, so now at this point, really just working on a studio piece, but how I really like to attack the surface is going in hard and almost aggressive with the background, just get it abstract, get it messy. It's easier to go loose to tight, and that just means, kind of free yourself up, let the paint fly a little bit, and then tighten it up as you go. The way I start from the background, I'll get like a loose sort of, almost gestural sketch and then start blocking in. And I almost paint in a way that's like sculpture. It's like I'll give myself a chunky base and start chipping away at that with details. So a big part of painting, and especially today, if you're a self-taught, well-practiced, no matter where you're coming at in art, a big important part is to document. It's one of those, if there aren't pics, it never happened sort of a situation. The better footage you take, video, photography, process shots, everything is important. It's part of your process. It's how you get there, and a way to connect your audience is to show them that. Video, especially, you know, in the past few years, has become a huge tool for artists to connect to viewers and to grow their audience overall. And that leads to, you know, the ability to make more, create more, and get more out there. Okay, the best way to check out how I complete a piece, start to finish, in between, is going to be checking out my Instagram at You Can Call Me Alec. You're going to find the most up-to-date visions, views of what I'm up to.